Hey everyone, it's for the Future here, and today I want to make a little video about some microphones, which isn't usually what I talk about. I'm not a really big microphone person, so don't expect too much of an in-depth overview or any frequency response charts and fancy stuff like that. This is just about these microphones and some real-world examples so you can see how they perform and what you can use them like. So what we are looking at today are the LOM, and I believe it's pronounced Uši Pro. It's on the screen somewhere, like there-ish. And these microphones I use together with my Zoom H2N. If I hold it in front of my face, it should be focused. As you can see, I've made a little spaced bar for this, very improvised. Yet very functional. It's about 30 centimeters, so it's pretty alright. Yeah, so we will just be going over some audio examples, a short little unboxing part, and then I will talk a little bit about how I feel about these microphones and if they are a good value to pick up. So without further ado, let's get into the unboxing part and let's get into some audio examples. So here we have the packaging for the Ušis, very basic packaging, and it's shipped pretty securely in a nice little cardboard box. Now I ordered the Uši Pro microphones together with a 3.5mm jack cable, so I could use them with my H2N, but I also wanted to have the option to use them with my normal audio interface, so this is just the cable, the 3.5mm cable. And the kit itself is shipped with XLR cables. And together with that, I also ordered some little stands so I could mount them later on. You also get a few stickers, and that's about it. It's a very basic packaging, which is totally fine with me. Means less waste and less throwing stuff away, so that's perfect. So this is the 3.5mm jack cable attached to the Uši Pros, and as you can see there's a little bit of a thicker part on the connector, which is probably for some built-in electronics. You can't just use any cable with these, so keep that in mind, use proprietary cables. And here's a little view of that clip. These are included with the Uši Pros. As you can see, these things are really rather small. The connector itself is about as big as the microphone capsule. Very neat to have microphones this small to be able to tuck them away anywhere you want to. I'm also going to try to use them as a lavalier mic or a lapel mic, however you want to call them. So look forward for that test later on in this video. So when thinking of things to do for this video, I thought I need to find something which is pretty quiet, because these are often touted as being very sensitive mics. So I thought I need a nice quiet example to kind of get a feeling for what these can do. And I looked at my record player and I went, well, something that's really quiet is a record being played without amplification. So I thought, why not give that a shot? So this is using the H2N at around 5 input gain, boosted in post. It's still fairly noisy, but I'm going to blame the Zoom for that. I will do a later test with my PreSonus to see if it gives the same result, but still pretty interesting clip. So let's take a listen at a record being played without amplification. Oh, also bonus points if you can guess which record this is. So that was an interesting experience, to say the least. It was a little bit scary to have that setup dangling just over the record, but this is a bad version of this record I own. I also own a version which is much better, but I didn't want to risk it getting bumped by some microphones. Yeah, pretty interesting, to say the least. I don't think it's the best demonstration of what these microphones can do. I think you need a recorder with a bit more gain overhead than the H2N. So let's get into another example. So here is some rain on my attic roof. This is just recorded with the Ushis in a spaced configuration, holding them like, I think about 3 centimeters from the window. No video for this one, just audio. Here we go. So that was some pretty quiet rain on a window in the attic. Pretty soothing stuff. I could probably post hours of rain sounds because rain is pretty cool. Anyways, that was a pretty fun example of some pretty quiet sounds. The next example, a little bit more loud, is me doing the dishes in the kitchen while there's some water boiling in the background, so you will also hear the stove. The spaced stereo setup is mounted right behind the faucet, I think is the correct English word. So yeah, it's, it's another interesting experience, but it's very nicely spaced. So hopefully you can appreciate the spaciness and the ASMR qualities of me doing some dishes. Yeah, these demos are very, very creative, I know. Me doing dishes, here we go. So that was kind of weird and probably enjoyable for some people, I hope. Another thing I wanted to try is to use these as lavalier mics, as alluded to before. So I clipped one to my shirt, like right here on the collar. And just because they are a pair, I decided to clip the other one around this point. Just to have a little bit of a comparison in how they pick up the sound of different points of your clothing. I was wearing the same outfit, so a shirt and a hoodie thing. And I made a little round around the house to see how it picks up different noises. So that's the last demo for this video. I did also mount them to my gimbal and some other stuff, but I'm going to keep those for another video, and I want to do a full just sound demo video as well. But this is the last demo piece for this video, so here we go. So this is a test for the Uši Pro as a lavalier type of microphone, using the H2N by Zoom at the mid-gain setting. So let me quickly put it away. So right now I have one microphone positioned at the top of my shirt and one roughly halfway. They are not covered in any kind of way. We're just walking around through my house right now, so there's no wind or anything. Well, aside from walking wind, possibly. Now the Ušis are omnidirectional, so you might be able to pick up some PC noises here. I'm going to move upstairs now, so you will hear some stair noises, just to give you a little bit of an idea. So that's a door. Moving into a different room now. So here's some different room sound. All right. Let's move back out. Move back downstairs. Cool, there we go. Now another test we can do is we can actually sit down at the PC. Now my PC is rather noisy. So you probably hear it right now. So this is typing on a mechanical keyboard with red M switches. Give you a bit of an idea about the typing sound. And this is the sound of my Akai MPK Mini while talking. To give you a bit of an idea of that sound. Now obviously this isn't what these microphones were made for. It's still interesting to give it a shot, I guess. So this is the Uši Pro. Indoors, no wind, as a lapel / lavalier mic kind of deal, using the Zoom H2N. And that will conclude this test. So there you go, that's a few audio examples of the LOM Uši Pros being used in ways they were not intended to be used, because that's always the most fun, right? I did have a lot of fun with these things. They are certainly very, very usable, and I'm going to post a bunch more demos when I get to it, taking them outside and putting them on the gimbal to do some test runs with that concept, because I want to create sort of a binaural kind of thing, or an ultra wide spaced thing that follows the gimbal movements. I think that could be interesting, but I'm not 100% sure if the omnidirectionals are the way to go for that sort of setup. Yeah, I think these are very cool little mics. They feel very well built. They are very well thought out all the way to the details with the it's actually a pretty nice touch. I don't know if I can actually show this on camera, but I will try. So as you can see, the clip is in line with the sticker. That's just a nice little detail. So if you want to plug in the cable, you can just look at the sticker. That's a nice little eye for detail with these things. Pricing, very respectable for a set of or a pair of stereo mics, especially of this quality, because they sound very, very good, to me at least. There's only one big downside, and that's actually getting your hands on these, because these are handmade in fairly small batches and they always sell out very fast. So I was fortunate enough to have a friend uh, who notified me in time so I could be on the site the moment it went live and just instantly mash it and pray the payment went through fast enough, because you pretty much have 1 or 2 minutes to get your hands on these. It's very unicorn tier gear when it comes to it. So that's a downside for these things. At the same time, it does add to the charm. Being able to buy them is cool. You just have to be patient. So don't expect to go to the website and buy them right now. It's probably going to take a few months to restock. But yeah, that's all part of the fun, I guess. And at this price, I mean, I can't blame them. They are very cheap, so they sell out very fast. One of the things you read a lot in the online reviews is people saying that it's a very nice, cheap alternative to have to put them in places which are a little bit more potentially hazardous because they are cheap to replace. I actually think that's a bit of a misnomer, because I had to wait like 8 months for a batch to show up on the website, so I wouldn't really risk them. Because they are hard to replace, just because they are hard to get. Not really a price thing, but more of a, if you're lucky enough to get your hands on these, you probably don't want to get them smashed or wet or anything. So yeah, the Uši Pros. Cool mics. If you're looking for mics and you're not in a hurry, definitely recommend keeping an eye on their website, subscribing to their newsletter, and grabbing a pair when you can. If you want to see more of these mics, stay tuned. It will probably take a week or two, maybe longer, to get some extra footage up, but I'll try to do some recordings with these in interesting places. That's it, and for now, I'm going to say have a great day.